Thank you for downloading the Flixters podcast. On this week's episode,
I'll be surprised if it's not garbage. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll be very surprised if it's not garbage.
My view hasn't changed one single bit. I went back and I watched like parts of it again thinking, oh shit, maybe I was a bit too harsh. But no, like, you know what? I stand firm with what I said. And what I say is
I went into this with low expectations, like real low, just hoping to have a fun time, had a popcorn out, watched it.
And I'm being brutal but honest. Everything that DC have put out movie-wise has just been an attempt to catch up to Marvel in this amazing sequence that Marvel has built. And everything they've put out has been noticeably rushed. It's just been garbage. From start to finish, you can just tell it's been rushed.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of TheFlixters. And we're finally getting this show on the road because due to a small little glitch that happened last week, we weren't able to come out with a show. So we've ironed out all the kinks. We have finally got Kay in the house again. We've tracked him down. We're bringing him to the show one more time to do this. So, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause or whatever you're doing right now, clapping, like whatever. Kay, man, you're on the show one more time. How's it going?
Amazing. I mean, like for the second time, right? But the first time for everyone else. So, no, amazing. Thank you again. Thank you for running it back. I was really upset because we had some really cool conversation. So thank you.
It's going to be cool again, man. It's going to be cool again. Don't worry. It's
exactly.
Gonna be cool. Even
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and from the first time that we did this, the first 10 minutes, I was like listening back to that show, and it was like, this is hilarious. And then all of a sudden, after 10 minutes, I'm like, shit, where the hell is all the audio gone? So yeah, man, it was a great episode. So we're going to try and capture some of that, and we're going to make it new. We're going to make it kind of, fresh as well. So folks, you know the drill. Deval and I and Kay, we're going to be bringing you some movie news. We're going to be bringing you some new ones, trailers, some streaming stuff, some hidden gems. No hidden gems actually, because we haven't got the time. Some anniversary corner movies.
Even we can't find them this week.
Exactly. And also we're going to be reviewing Coming to America, which is the new Eddie Murphy movie, which we're going to be speaking about and we're going to be chatting about. So, we hope you enjoy the show. So let's get on with it. Devaldo, let's do the shout-outs.
All right, cool. I'm going to whiz through some of these shout-outs because there's quite a lot today. All our Flixters have been giving us a lot of love on social media, and we really, really appreciate it. So I'm going to sort of whiz through some of these. They're a mixture of Facebook and on Instagram. So we've got Anastasia, 19 Kiki D. 19 Kiki D. Got to do a dance every time I say that. We've got Ambi, Charlie Jai UK. We got King Dot Solani. We got O'Shea PD, Elaine Gerbax, Claude Cole, Reese, Lisa B, Sarah T. sounds like a girl band, isn't it? Lisa B, Sarah T. Trish Steele Lewis. Actually, a lot of those shout outs came from Married at First Sight Australia. That show is crazy. A lot of people hate it. Some people love it. And it's like no one's in between. It's one of those crazy, crazy shows. So if you've seen that, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then obviously we also have a couple more shout outs, Camille and Angelica, who also shouted us out on Instagram about Coming to America. Thanks for your comments, guys.
Brilliant. Yeah, keep listening, guys. And remember, get in touch with us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. And if there's any movie that you want us to review or check out, please do let us know. All right, okay, on to the movie news. Now, Deval, you're starting us off with some Golden Globe Awards news. Now, I know the Golden Globes were kind of a couple of weeks ago, but this is kind of big news, right?
Yeah.
So, take it away.
Well, these boys are doing it Jill Scott style, man. They're living their life like it's golden. Daniel Kaluuya and John Boyega both win Golden Globes. And like you said, it's happened a couple of weeks ago now, but do you know what? It's still so present and powerful and good to hear. These two guys are gangsters in the game. Daniel Kaluuya has been in gangster films from Sicario to recently Judas and the Black Messiah. John Boyega, obviously Star Wars, Attack the Block, and a whole bunch of other movies. So yeah, some two good gems right there, keeping the light shining. So well done, guys.
Yeah, well done.
Big well done.
All right, okay, now let's speak about this, guys. Now I want to get Kay's kind of view on this. The whole thing, do you remember, Kay, when Endgame came out, there was this kind of competition, well, yeah, kind of like a bit of a competition, a race between Avatar
Yep.
and Endgame, Avengers
Endgame.
Endgame, which one was going to be kind of like the overall biggest box office winner. And it turned out that Endgame won. But
After the
now,
re-release.
folks, after the
After,
re-release.
after the second release.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, how many times did you end up watching it in cinema?
In the cinema, I think 5 or 6 times in the
Oh
cinema.
Oh,
my
that's good.
gosh.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a
You
Yeah.
good
went first
turnout.
time,
That
isn't
is a
it?
good
You
turnout.
went first time to watch it.
I went so many. I think I went 2 or 3 times on day release, to be honest, which
How
is
Is
is it?
it?
basically the entire day anyway, considering how long the film was. So yeah, man,
Exactly.
I was all over it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, listen, if you haven't heard already, but the news is that Avatar has overtaken Avengers Endgame. I think it's only by about a couple of million, maybe about 3 or 4 million, but it's now the highest grossing film of all time. And the official Marvel Instagram page, they put something out. And they said something like, congratulations to James Cameron and to one of the producers and stuff. So he's overtaken Endgame. And it's like, shit, man. Like, they had to go and do a re-release, and it's the Chinese viewers, so people who are watching it out in China, they're the ones who kind of push the numbers up. But what the hell, man? It's Avatar. I mean, okay, yeah, kind of great. It kind of feels like as if they're doing this because they know that they've got Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 and whatever's coming out. So it kind of
Yeah.
smells like a gimmick as well.
Yeah, how many times are they going to re-release? Like, I don't know if it's fair. You just keep re-releasing to get your numbers up. So I'm not sure how fair it is. But no, Avatar was a great film, and we've been waiting for the second and third and fourth and fifth and whatever else is coming for a long time.
Yeah,
So no, I'm excited to see it, but still a little bit inside. I'm a little bit upset because
Yeah. Me
not
too.
not much. There's not much, if any, at all in the realm of films that tops Endgame for me.
yeah.
So there's still that little part of me that's a bit disappointed. But fair play to Avatar.
Fair play. All right, okay, let's get on with it. So, Deval, you're going to tell us about The Bad Batch, which, this sounds interesting. Tell us about this one again.
Yeah, the Bad Batch is a little crew actually. It's in the Star Wars universe, and this follows on from the Clone Wars animation, which is still tied into the whole Star Wars franchise. I know Kay's loving this talk right now. So
Mate, you know what I was
He's
actually,
snoozing off.
you know what I was just doing? Do you know what I was just doing? I was actually, because I'm so
zoned out.
engaged and I can multitask so much, I was actually looking up the image that the
Yeah.
Russo brothers posted on their social media page, which was this really cool image of Thanos, his armor, and kind of the A and the V of Avengers turning to dust and going into the rest of Avatar. So
Is
spelling
it?
out Avatar,
Yeah,
and then it says passing the gauntlet back to you. Now that's a
that's a good.
That's
nice
cool.
touch.
That's
That is
respect.
cool.
That's respect
Yeah.
among
That
kings. You know
that is a
that.
nice
Yeah.
touch. But I know I'm not gonna make you forget what you were talking about, Vibe. So feel free to get back to this Star Wars stuff, and I'll
Oh,
I'll
I'll
just
just sit
shit.
whiz
here in the
past this
background.
thing. So the Bad Batch is going to be coming out on the 4th of May, which is, as we know, it's Star Wars Day, isn't it? And the Bad
Yep.
Batch is
Yeah.
a sort of ragtag crew that were clones, but they were the clones that were maybe misshaped or weren't really, they didn't pass quality control. So they were they were kind of tossed and rejected. They formed their own crew and they go out and do missions, and they're kind of anti-heroes, all of them, but they kind of mean well, but they don't play by the rules. So it's an interesting group, and I've seen one episode or two episodes where they were in the Clone Wars, and it was actually really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing this one. Should be a good
Okay, cool.
animation. Yeah.
And we don't know any casting rumors on that one, do we?
No, I mean the Bad Batch are made up of. I wouldn't say they're made up of like actual. I don't know, like I don't want to disrespect them, but big household names. There are a
Sure.
couple in there, but it's all animation, so you're not going to see them. You're only going to hear them. Still a good cast anyway, from what I've heard.
All right. Okay. Well, listen, we'll keep you posted on that one, folks. Now, let's speak about Love and Thunder. I'm talking about Thor 4. And listen, let me just quickly, chuck this out there. I mean, who's kind of like really, really eager to watch this movie? Kay, what are your views on it?
Dude, I'm always super eager to watch anything coming out from the Marvel universe. So I'm beyond eager. I think Thor is the first solo that's gonna have a fourth movie, right?
Oh,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
He's
Yeah,
he,
yeah.
Yes.
he's the
Yeah.
first one. Like he's the first one that's gonna have a fourth installment, which in itself is amazing. Love the first. To be fair, I love the first three. I just think that the third one, for me, it went a bit too humor ish for me. Like when you're talking Ragnarok and you're talking the end of Asgard, Like I wanted to see just all out Thor destruction and war and hella madness. Um, but they threw in a lot of jokes, which made it really cool. But I felt like they already hit that lane with Guardians, and I felt like they
Yeah,
could have taken this film slightly to another level on that front. But still an
sure.
amazing film, and still looking forward to number 4, 100%.
All right. Yeah,
I
brilliant.
know you
Well,
love
listen,
Guardians, innit? Guardians was special for you, innit?
Guardians is
Guardians is great.
mate,
Special.
amazing. Like the way that the first one came out and just flipped everything on its head. Like
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
never seen a film like that. Soundtrack I played
The
for I don't know
opening.
how long
Oh yeah,
after.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
opening has to be one of the best of all
Oh,
time
it's
for
brilliant,
me.
man. I
Like
love just
amazing.
putting that opening scene on and just what even to this day love watching that opening scene. But listen, you mentioned Hella and Deval, there's kind of like they're still working. So production's still going ahead on this one Down Under, and there's some kind of like on-screen photos, right? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, on-set photos and video actually. So they've given us a bit of a glimpse as to I guess the tone. I'm not sure if Kay's going to like it, but the tone is going to be quite similar to Ragnarok in the sort of comedic edge that Taika Waititi brings with all these, films and TV shows. And from what we've seen, it's going to be they're sort of redoing a clip or a scene, I should say, out of a theatre piece that happened in Ragnarok that involved, Matt Damon and other Hemsworth brother and people like that. And in this one, it's going to have Melissa McCarthy playing Hela, and Matt Damon's returning, and I don't know who else is returning, but it's going to be a similar kind of comedic themed type sort of clip that's going to be in the
Yeah.
film. So that's what they've shown us so far. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other stuff going on that. I mean, look, Christian Bale's in this, man, as God the Gore Butcher.
Oof.
I mean,
What a
when you call
name.
someone God, I mean, sorry, you call,
And Butcher.
sorry, I flipped it. When you call someone Gore the God Butcher, I mean, as a god, if you're a god sitting on your throne somewhere and you hear the guy called Gore, the God Butcher, I'll be shitting my pants thinking, hold on, this guy goes out there butchering gods, yeah?
Butchering
I'm a
gods.
god.
No,
Like,
but
what?
to be fair though, if you just hear the word gore, you're thinking, okay, this sounds a bit nerdy. But then when you like gore the
Ah,
God Butcher, then when you add that little bit on there,
nah,
then it's
mate.
like, okay, shit,
No,
man,
no,
here's a
no, no,
pricking up,
no.
man.
It's a whole different story
You
when you
know?
throw in the God Butcher.
It's
Like
nothing about the god killer. He doesn't just kill you and be like, slit your throat, shoot you. He butchers you, mate.
Butchers you.
I really hope
Oh
he wears an
shit.
apron. In my mind, he's wearing an
Oh
apron
my gosh,
with
dude.
God's
No, no,
And
clothes
a
no,
all
no, no.
cleaver
over
or
it.
something.
And he
Yeah.
says, you want a £20 money or £20 weights?
I'm
Oh
telling you, man.
shit.
I really want to see him in an apron, just with a
Yeah,
meat cleaver.
exactly.
But
Yeah,
and
but
and
with
to
a
mention that
name
as well,
like
Natalie
that, yeah, go
Portman.
on.
Natalie Portman is jacked on that as well. You
Oh,
see how
yeah,
Yes.
she
yeah.
got bigger shoulders than I do.
Oh, gosh. Nice
She's
big
she's
shoulders.
been putting in the work.
Yeah, so we're gonna look. We're definitely looking forward to that one, and yeah, we'll keep you posted on all the news there. Now, this next piece I want to kind of quickly mention, and I want to get your views on this. We're going to be speaking about WandaVision later on in the show, and we're kind of going to go into a bit of a deeper dive on that one, and that's kind of set up the whole Disney Plus and Phase 4 on the Marvel stuff, and we're now looking for our eyes are on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But check this out. So early reviews have just come in. So there's some kind of critics out there. They've had access to kind of like the first 1 or 2 episodes, and a lot of people. I mean, I don't care about what the critics say and everything, but a lot of people are saying that WandaVision has set the bar so high that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is kind of like it's kind of like a bit of a sidetrack away. And remember, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to be the first show that Disney were going to come up with. So a lot of critics are saying that it's great. It kind of brings things back to kind of, the MCU again, where, lots of, crash, bang, wallop, lots of kind of explosive fights. A lot of people are saying that the chemistry between the two, Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie, is brilliant. They've got great camaraderie, loads of banter. But what they're saying is they hope that it lives up to the expectation. But I mean, what are you guys thinking that this is going to be like?
It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, but they're
Oh, good
longer from what
question.
I understand. They're
Long.
longer than WandaVision.
Okay, man. I mean, it's like I was saying. I trust anything Marvel puts out. So whatever Marvel do has my entire trust. They have not let me down. So I I'm going into it with an open mind, and it'll be
Yeah.
good to kind of revert back to the when you had all these superheroes doing intergalactic stuff, it's nice sometimes to bring it back to the planet Earth.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
guys who can just fight, going
yeah,
out
Yeah.
and fighting, and not necessarily having all of these superpowers, but just fighting. So
yeah.
that would be cool to watch. But no, I mean, WandaVision for me, what we'll talk about was so good. I mean, really
So
amazing
good,
that
so
the
good, so good.
Oh my
if
god.
I'd
Sorry,
have known you were going to do that, I would have harmonized. You got to warn me next time so I can throw
Destiny's
in the
Child.
harmony. I'm telling you. But no, it set the bar really high, man. I mean, I think that took it to a whole nother level. So yeah, I can, I hope that they're overdoing it a bit, but I can see, it will be a tough one, the tough act to follow, so to speak.
No, I
Yeah.
concur for sure, and I'm with you on that. The whole grounded Earth level. For me, one of my favorite fights of all Marvel, still to this day, is the fight on the street with Captain America and Winter Soldier in the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
Yeah.
fight is so intimate. It's just two people battling, fighting. Special effects are hardly even there. The music, just it's so
The
gritty.
little drops of the knife
Yeah.
and the catching it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
yeah,
see
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? You see what I'm
Brilliant.
saying? So
Yeah,
if this is
yeah.
going to give us some of that, I mean, come on, man. What more do you want?
Well, we hope so. Yeah, this is going to be great. Yeah, so that's coming out. We've only got another week to wait on that one?
A few days by the
Yeah.
time this is out. A few days. So yeah,
Oh, it's
literally.
even better. All right, folks. So listen, yeah. So keep it locked onto the Flixters because we're going to be doing a deeper dive on that one as well, and we're going to be littering the shows with stuff on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But let's kind of move it along a little bit and let's go over to DC now. Check this out. Fans of Batman. I mean, we're fans of Batman on the show. I mean, the amount of time that we spoke about Batman at work, the three of us, we were just talking about Bane, we're doing silly impersonations of Bane and things like that.
Knight, I'd like to
Dark
specify
Knight.
that. Dark Knight.
Dark
We weren't
Knight,
talking about
yeah.
Batman. We were talking about Dark Knight.
Yeah, we spoke about Dark Knight a lot. Well, the news here is that Matt Reeves, he was on social media just recently, and he's confirmed that the Batman has officially wrapped up their filming. So, if you don't know, Robert Pattinson, the guy from Twilight, he is going to be the new
Twilight.
Batman.
You see the guy from Toilet?
Sounded like that.
The guy
Twilight.
from Toilet.
He mixed Twilight and Toilet together. Toilet. That's a
Twilight.
wicked name.
Easily done. Easily
Yeah.
done.
Easily done. So yeah, man. So this is wrapped filming. So obviously the next stage is obviously post production and like editing and all that sort of stuff, and maybe then doing some reshoots. Who knows? But this movie started production 14 months ago, and we know that the pandemic, obviously caused havoc. Robert Pattinson, he became ill, and other stuff going on here and there. But yeah, man. So the movie's done and dusted. We're going to be hopefully seeing this like pretty soon.
Yeah.
I hope I am.
Oh man, are you into it? Good. I didn't call you Godsalonius K.
Right, I would have replied all the same. Is it part of the? Is it part of the same?
Nah.
Nah,
So
they're taking
it's
this
a
new
side.
direction.
Okay, so it's kind of like Dark Knight, so to speak, where it's a step away from what they've been doing with Aquaman and all that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Different.
Okay.
and they're
I'll
kind
give
of
it the
going
time of
like
day
the
then.
early years.
Okay. Well, with that, I mean, I'm not sold on Robert Pattinson as an actor. I wasn't
Yeah.
sold on Ben Affleck, but okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Especially when you're coming after Christian Bale and Heath Ledger, and that, like, it's difficult to follow that, right?
Yeah.
I'll definitely give it a chance, seeing as it's not linked to any of the rest of the crap that DC have been putting out. Hopefully, as
Yeah.
it's removed from that, it might have something about it. But I'm going in with my hopes sub-zero. Like, I'm telling you, it's
Like
below
Mr.
the
Freeze,
ground,
man.
Hopefully, it's not a fatality of a movie, innit?
mate.
Have to wait and
It's
see.
from what I've seen. So let's be honest, right? And I'm being brutal but honest. Everything that DC have put out movie-wise has just been an attempt to catch up to Marvel
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that.
amazing sequence that Marvel has built, and everything they've put out has been noticeably rushed. It's just been garbage from start to finish. You can just tell it's been rushed and it's been garbage. I hate everything that DC has put out, and it hurts me because I love Batman.
Yeah.
And we love those
And
characters.
I
Yeah, a
love
lot of those
Superman.
characters we love.
I love the
Yeah.
characters, but everything they've put out has been garbage, and that is me being nice because I don't know who listens to your show. I don't know if kids
Nah,
tune
tell
in,
the
so
real. Tell the
I don't
realness.
want
No,
I don't want
we've
to throw
got.
the MFs
we've-
out there just yet.
What are you talking
Let's
about,
see if
man?
the- let's
Guys
see if
at
the,
DC listen to the show.
Let's see if
Good.
the Snyder cut, does anything to change that. That's out. in a
Yeah.
couple of days' time.
Couple of
So
days time,
yeah,
that one. Well, listen, look, you're talking about like, the stuff that they're putting out. Let me just quickly go through some of the stuff they recently just announced, all the projects that they're working on. And there's a lot of TV stuff, which I'm not going to focus on. So this is just the movie stuff, but check this out. Black Adam, Batgirl, Peacemaker, Green Lantern movie, folks, Aquaman 2, The Flash, Suicide Squad, and obviously the Batman. They're making a Supergirl movie, Shazam,
Yeah.
Fury of the Gods, which we've spoken about before, the Suicide Squad. So yeah, those are some of the kind of projects that they're working on. And there's a lot of TV stuff as well, which I haven't really spoken about. But I mean, does that kind of make you a bit more interested, Kay?
It's good that we're not doing the video this week.
Because you would have just like,
You would have seen the physical pain and the eye rolls on my face just listening to that raft of titles. Like Black Adam, Dwayne Johnson, I will give him
Ah,
any type of time that I have.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Black Adam,
He's
I'll
got
give
you.
it. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
watch it because I'm fully invested in anything Dwayne Johnson does. So he's got me already. I'm gonna go and watch that. And even if it's garbage, I'm probably gonna think it's good. I'm not gonna lie to you. But the rest
Yeah.
of that stuff, I mean, I just don't think they've got the right model, DC. I think they started way far behind, and instead of thinking,
Yeah.
let's go slowly and build up our own thing, they're just trying to catch up and just get as much money in by doing big blockbuster films. They didn't
Yeah.
invest the time in building it from the ground up like Marvel did in the MCU. So all of these titles, I mean, it's draining me listening to it because I think it's just going to be more.
They
Oh,
need
listen,
The
you're not
Rock, man.
alone.
The Rock.
You're not.
He's the most electrifying man in all entertainment.
All
They know.
entertainment.
He said it from
All
years ago,
entertainment.
before he was like big. He's in all entertainment. If he went into
He wasn't
music,
lying. He
he'd
wasn't
be it.
lying.
If he went whatever he goes into, just
Well, a lot of people share the same sentiments. Like, they're kind of like, they're tired. Like, and a lot of people, there's a whole kind of like a whole kind of wave of people online which are pretty bored about the whole Schneider cut of the Justice League, to be honest with you, because they're like, it's not going to change anything. So that's kind of like the bottom line. Well, listen, look, we'll wait and see. The three of us, we're going to go away. We're going to watch the Snyder cut again, hopefully. At some point, maybe we can speak about it on the show. So we'll see what happens. And obviously, when those other movies come out, we can talk about those as well. But on to more pertinent news, and obviously, Kay's here to kind of speak about this. But we're going to get some more Hobbs and Shaw. Kay, tell us about this.
Mate. Now we've got two sides to this, right? The first is I still haven't let go of the fact that from your last show, because no one heard last week. So all they're going off is the last show where you literally said I'm shitting on Fast and Furious, and I had to make it clear that is unacceptable.
Unacceptable behavior. Okay.
Unacceptable behavior, okay? Because you got cars flying from skyscrapers. I mean, you got cars driving through aeroplanes.
Oh my
You got
gosh.
you got all sorts, right? And Hobbs and Shaw lives up to expectations.
Yeah.
The man of the moment that we're talking about, Dwayne Johnson, holding a helicopter with his bare hands by
oh,
a chain. Captain America couldn't do that.
This is
my
it's unbelievable.
He was
And I
Winter
think one
Soldier.
of
He
you
was
guys
holding
said
a
it.
cook bomb, right?
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
one of you guys said it, like, last time we spoke, it was like, imagine like a physics teacher watching this or something, like,
Yeah.
what do they make of it? But
Physics out
the
the
other
window.
point, the other point is though, with these movies, you got to just kind of leave something behind at home
Yes.
and just walk into these movies and just take them for what they are, right?
Yes, you
Yeah.
just have to allow yourself to believe. You just have to allow yourself to believe that these things could happen. Real life superheroes. But
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Oh
I'm looking forward
gosh.
to Hobbs and Shaw too. I thought the first one was
It was good. I
thoroughly
really enjoyed
entertaining.
it. I
Thoroughly
really
Yeah.
enjoyed
entertaining.
it. Yeah, I did
Yeah, I
enjoy
had
it.
more fun watching that than I thought I would, like, if
Yeah,
I'm being
yeah.
honest. And the whole car thing, like, the helicopter and everything like that was, and him going to his, like, hometown and everything, that was all great. So
Yeah,
that's
that
fine.
was good.
So if we
That was
do
good.
see this stuff, I mean, it just kind of, he's unstoppable, isn't he? Like, let's put it this way, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he's unstoppable. Whatever he does, like if it's a movie about, like, Rampage, like, Jumanji, which I watched recently with the kids, and they had a great time watching that movie as well. So he brings wholesome fun to the table, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
as well as
every
his
time.
energy drinks and his tequila. Anything he
And
brings to the
tequila as well,
table.
Under Armour and
Energy
whatnot.
drinks, Zoa, tequila. He's mate. He's all over the place. But that's the thing with him now as well. He's got such star power that whatever he does, he's bringing a global audience.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
could bring up the shittest idea in the world,
Yeah.
but the audience he has, like he's getting me to watch a DC film. He's getting me invested in watching a
yeah,
DC
yeah,
film.
yeah.
That's the pulling
Yeah.
power that he has.
Exactly. And just on that, one of the news that we kind of want to mention is that Black Adam has already begun production. So we're going to be seeing, or we're going to be hearing more of The Rock making this movie. And we're probably going to be seeing teasers, trailers coming out soon and like
Yeah.
images. But this guy, he's training hard. If you go online, he's actually detailing like the workouts that he's doing. And I mean, the guy is just a beast. Like, seriously, he's in beast mode. He's preparing because for him, this is a character that he's wanted to play for a long time, right, Deval?
Yeah, for this has been the idea has been bouncing around for I'd say 10 years easily, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
they approached Warner Brothers DC quite a while ago, and yeah, this has been on the back burner, just nice marinating and soaking up all the juices, and now it's actually there to actually start production. So this should be interesting. It was meant to come out originally December 2021. Don't
Well,
know where it's going to come out now, but we'll get it soon.
exactly. He's making it his own. And listen, the guy, he's a winner. And talking about winning, Kay, what else has he won recently?
Yes, indeed. Recently, he won the Trailblazer Award from the Hollywood Critics Association. I think it's the fourth year that they've handed out that award. And the Trailblazer Award is for really doing what a trailblazer does, just kind of creating new paths, going above and beyond, setting
Mm.
new levels and new bars of success and delivery. And like you were saying, I mean, I don't think anyone can argue. There's no bigger trailblazer in my mind in recent memory than Dwayne Johnson. And yes,
Mm.
I am fanboying a little bit because I watched him from when he came up in wrestling. I was a big wrestling
Oof.
fan.
Yeah.
But you look at like we said, man, he just released an energy drink, which is the fastest selling energy drink. He's got his own brand of tequila. He's got his Project Rock stuff and his Under Armour gear. That like
Yeah.
he's a Voss ambassador. Like the guy just it's the Trailblazer Award was like pretty much made for him. So
Yeah.
you know as much as it may or may not mean, congratulations, DJ. That's what I like to call him because that's my boy.
And if you're listening,
Congratulations,
DJ,
DJ.
just
Of course
this
he's
is going out to you,
listening.
man.
Of course
On
he's
the
listening.
well-deserved Trailblazer Award. Of course he's listening. He heard I was going to be on the show, so he's all in. There's a really cool video on his IG though, accepting the award where he and it's a nice montage of all of his successes, but then he's
Mm.
really humble in dedicating the award to his father who passed away last year,
Yeah.
and some
Yeah.
and some really just really cool down to earth messages. Like he talks about the most important thing is just being good to people, making people feel good. Like you can make all the
Mm.
money in the world, you can have all the houses and cars in the world, but that doesn't mean anything. If you have the opportunity to make someone else feel good, that is the most important thing in life. So it's a really cool video.
Well said. Yeah, brilliant. God, that makes me feel good. So listen, go check out the Trailblazer Award and read up on what stuff the Rock's doing and stuff. And that's your movie news for today. Now, we've mentioned WandaVision a lot over the past 3 or 4 weeks, and WandaVision has kind of finished. So if you haven't seen WandaVision, please stop because we are going to be talking about, details about the show. We're going to be speaking about the ending of the show. And if you don't want to hear about all that sort of stuff, so stop listening right now and then come back and listen to it. But first things first, I'm just going to put this out there that, whoa, what a introduction to Phase 4. And, or actually, no, it's not an introduction to Phase 4, is it? Because this is kind of like the continuation of Phase 4 because we've already had Spider-Man and whatnot. But this has been a whole new type of a project for the MCU, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is I mean, this is the first real sort of MCU TV show, isn't it? I think, and just the way, obviously, the continuation of characters from the movies, into the TV show, detailing, getting into the nitty gritty about where she came from, why she is how she is, all her sort of her lifestyle, her upbringing, I think that was really touching. That was quite good because we saw her come. Obviously, Wanda, Scarlet Witch. We saw her introduced in Avengers: Age of Ultron, and we didn't get a full flavor of who she is. She talked a bit about her upbringing and stuff like that. Why she hates Tony Stark because his bombs were involved in destroying Sokovia, where she's from, and we got a flavor. It tasted good, but now we get the full we get the full meal. We see the ingredients, we see the process of how this was prepared, and you know what? It does put into context. It's a story about loss and grieving and
Yeah, absolutely.
consequences and human emotions. So you know what? Overall, I mean, yeah, I'm sort of jumping ahead, but overall, I mean, I think it's a really, really good show, and it's really goes to show how well Marvel, as Kay said before, how they plan their shit.
Yeah,
They
man.
plan
I'm
their
telling
shit.
you.
They don't just get run on a toilet seat and shit it out. They've got the newspaper there. They've got their phone
What an
out.
image.
They're reading the articles. They're like, "Yep, no one talked to me for 20 minutes. I'm planning my shit." You know what I
I'm
mean?
telling you.
Yeah.
And
So,
they must all be sitting on glass toilets. You know what I'm talking about, Deval, because they can see shit clearly.
oh shit, man.
you know.
Oh my gosh. So all right. So listen. So we finally, over the kind of the course of the 9 episodes, we finally get to figure out who the big bad was. And I mean, Deval and I, we spoke about this on the show when we were kind of like, oh, is it Mephisto? Is it Nightmare? And we were kind of figuring out. And there was lots of theories online. And then we kind of get to the whole thing where it's Agatha Harkness. She's kind of like, the villain of the piece. And there's this big showdown between the Scarlet Witch. And there's this whole kind of backstory, of Agatha Harkness. I remember in one episode, it takes place in 1693 in Salem. And we kind of realize that, okay, she's quite powerful as well. And she's been around for a really long time. She takes power from other people, from other witches. And she was attracted to the power of what was going on in the hex. So she kind of transports herself into this hex and, she kind of implants herself in the whole kind of family thing. So that was all kind of interesting, seeing all that unfold.
Yeah.
But this whole kind of fight, so Agatha Harkness, she calls Scarlet Witch's magic chaos magic. So what do we make of all that? What do you think what is all of that?
That is a whole bunch of fun, is what it is. Just a whole ball of fun. I was saying this to Deval actually. We were talking about it, and I said, it sounds like they just put Marvel when they come up with stuff, they put words together, and on the surface you just hear like chaos magic. You're like, oh, that sounds cool. But when you really, really dig into it and pay attention and go through the definitions, you're talking about magic born from chaos. So the very
Mm,
fibers of
mm,
this magic, the
mm.
way it exists because chaos exists. But that in itself is just insane to even start thinking about. So I think, yeah, the doors have been like flung wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, touching briefly on what Deval was saying before, where she was introducing Age of Ultron, when we got that taste. If you really start going back and thinking about her timeline, when Pietro died in Age of Ultron, and she had that big scream where she drops to her knees, all the robots, all the Ultron robots around her, literally just evaporated, turned to dust,
Mm.
and that's something that we haven't seen. We've seen her manipulate and move things, but you didn't actually pay attention to it at the time. It's like, oh, she's upset her brother died, but if you look deeper into it, that sort of, I guess, chaos of emotion and stuff, she was able to just evaporate them without even knowing she was doing it. Then you fast forward to um, Infinity War, and she, with her bare hands, or her powers, without knowing she could even do it, destroys an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I can't stress enough. They talk about these 6 singular entities and how powerful they are. They're the start of the universe, and Thanos is after them. And she destroyed one, not just kind of learn how to put it away in a box or control. Destroyed it. Like, man, I mean, this chaos magic that they're bringing up now, and the fact that she's starting to understand what she has, and understand that, and like they alluded to as well, she had these powers prior to the stone,
Yeah.
so the stone enhanced it. But I'm so glad they've shifted this whole miracle nonsense, and that we're starting to get to the deep of the mutant side of things now. Um, Boy,
Because
it's a lot.
it's a lot, because there was an episode
Ooh.
in WandaVision where Agatha Harkness, she takes kind of like a strand of her hair and she kind of opens up a gateway to all her different memories, and we see kind of like various points of her life. And there's a bit where Wanda, she's a kid and she's in Sokovia and she's they're getting bombed to bits and stuff, and there's that Stark bomb there, and there's a bit where she's holding the bomb kind of like in place so it doesn't explode. So the kind of, it's implied that she's had power from a young age, and then it's just kind of enhanced as she's gotten older. So it kind of changes things up a bit, right? So it kind of slowly add in this thing about maybe mutant power being already there and then kind of being enhanced because of whatever. But that was interesting. The other point that I want to mention about is this whole thing with Vision. There's another Vision out there. The final episode saw a battle between Vision and Vision. So Wanda's Vision, the one that she conjures up, and the real the Vision that was killed.
The physical Vision.
Exactly. So there's that going on. And we spoke about this before, and just tell us a bit about this kind of philosophical, deep conversation mid-battle between these two super beings. What are they talking about? Okay.
We might be here for a while.
This is interesting. This is great, by the way.
No, this was wild, and I'm gonna let Deval dive into this one, because I know he's the way he pronounces certain words. I know I can't conjure up the same level of excitement when we talk about this ship of. How do you got to say it for me, man? Because I can't do it.
The ship of was it not Theseus? Was it not
Theseus?
Theseus, that's it.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for a classic Deval Theseus.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, they paused the whole show to have a philosophical conversation, and you're watching it, and they're in the middle of a fight, but I don't know how they do it, but there's so much going on. They're fighting, and when they stop and start having this conversation, your mind as well just stop, and you're engaged in this whole ship of Theseus discussion. And yeah, man, I had to stop the show. I had to pause it and
me too.
really start considering, like, damn, is it? What is it?
Yeah, who's become who now? Like, it's a great scene, and it kind of just, this just tells you the writing is really good. I think his name is Matt Shackman, who's kind of the creator behind WandaVision. They've gone kind of really deep into this whole character development of these people, and I love the fact that they've given these characters room to breathe. Like, Vision is actually getting a lot to do, and WandaVision's getting a lot to do, and everything like that. So that was a real great highlight. We kind of find out about.
I was going to say that it also shows that people think Vision is obviously he's very powerful. He can manipulate his density. That's when he can go through him, and he can also make himself really heavy, so he can literally go through the floor. Obviously, he can fly energy, but I think one of his greatest powers is his intelligence, and he's he's a voice of reason. Think about all the big battles they've been through. Even the Sokovia Accords, and all these times. He always there's always a moment where things stop, and he says, even in Civil War, he said, doesn't your very presence invite these enemies? Your very presence in the world is going to invite people to come and test how strong you are. So even you being around is going to cause war. That's what he was trying to say. He's beyond. I think he's just another level of intelligence. He's not even.
Yeah.
We're not ready for him. People are not ready for Vision. Honestly.
And not only that, and people might forget this, but remember, he's worthy as well. He picks up Thor's hammer. Do you remember?
Yes,
Do you remember that in what was it in? Was it in Age of Ultron? Wasn't it?
Ultron, yeah.
Yeah, he picks up the hammer as well. So listen, there's a bit in there where Vision, the White Vision, he kind of flies off. We don't know what's going to happen with him, and I'm pretty sure some point, down the line, we're going to hear about that. And we kind of finally get to know about the story behind Pietro. So a lot of people were kind of like, oh, if there was one criticism that I kind of read about and people were kind of moaning about, was this whole thing about they were hoping that Pietro was going to be this whole introduction to the whole kind of mutants thing. But in the end, it turned out that he was a guy called someone like Will Bonerman or something like that, and he was an actor.
Ralph Boner.
Yeah, Boner, that was it. So we didn't kind of get the mutant like it wasn't explicitly kind of like mentioned about the whole kind of like the mutant thing. So that was kind of interesting as well. Funny, kind of interesting.
That
Monica
was Marvel being
Rambeau,
cheeky. That was Marvel being
cheeky,
Yeah.
cheeky. They knew.
exactly.
They knew that when we saw him turn up, and we're aware of the new Doctor Strange film and the title and what it means. The very first, my jaw, I had to call the kids, the wife, the friends to come and pick it up off the floor because there was no removing it.
Yeah,
They knew we were thinking, oh my god, we're crossing universes.
mutants. Yeah,
We've got the X-Men universe. They knew it, and they knew exactly. They were cheeky because they knew exactly what they were doing. But still, they do it for a reason. It still opened up those thought processes
yeah.
and those ideas. And as you mentioned, with them alluding to Wanda having the powers at the beginning, they are still kind of opening that gateway into the whole mutant thing. And I think you're about to kind of segue into that a bit more with the Monica Rambeau stuff.
Yeah, no, all I was going to say was like, so Monica Rambeau, she's kind of, she doesn't, she's not, trying to remember back now, she's not in this episode a lot, is she, Monica Rambeau?
No, she's sort
No,
of no. She pops up in the sort of basement and has a little one-to-one with
With,
Ralph Boner.
that's it,
yeah,
yeah. But we do know that she has got powers, and you know the way that she can kind of. I think Deval, you mentioned this before about her photon powers, and she can absorb energy as well. So I think we're going to kind of get to see obviously more of her. Obviously, we are going to get to see more of her because she's going to appear in Captain Marvel 2. But there's an end credit scene where she gets taken to the side and. A Skrull kind of appears and is like, "Listen, hey, you're wanted," and she looks up. So that can mean only one thing, Deval, which is what?
Yeah, it means that the scroll said a friend of your mother's wants to see you. Up, which means Nick Fury is calling for your ass. So you better get upstairs on the spaceship. So it means that she's going to be up there in the sort of space sword, which is what sword is meant to be, up there in space doing her shit. She's meant to be up there with Captain Marvel, and in the comics, she's part of this group that involves Captain Marvel, what's his name, Blue Marvel, which is
Okay.
Adam Bashir. He's another deep character.
Yeah,
You
you mentioned
got America Chavez, who we're going to see hopefully sometime soon in Doctor Strange, and a couple of other people as well. I think even Black Panther might be part of that group. I think I'm not too sure, but yeah, there's another group that's there that Monica Rambeau is part of. So she's the next level in the comics. She was the original Captain Marvel, so she is, she's next level shit.
brilliant. And so her story isn't complete yet. So we're going to definitely
Nah.
get to kind of,
And she's hot as well. Oof.
yeah, great man.
Damn.
Now, when she bursts through that hex, man, there's one episode where she's running
What
and
a
she's bursting
scene.
through. Brilliant scene. I love that.
Burst through my hex
channeling,
anytime.
burst through your hex. I know she would.
Eyes. It was the eyes that got him when she came out with the eyes. The Val
Yes.
he was gone. He was
Oh
gone.
man! and then kind of obviously Agatha Harkness. So she gets defeated and she gets put in her place. And WandaVision, she kind of says goodbye to the kids, which we don't see, by the way. We don't actually see them disappearing, by the way. So I just want to kind of put that out there. And then she says goodbye to Vision, her Vision, and that's it. She's kind of left empty. She's goes off somewhere. And then the final end credit scene is the Scarlet Witch. She's in the mountain somewhere. She's making a cup of tea or a coffee or whatever. And then the camera just kind of does this wavy little thing. And then we see her astral projection reading from the book of the Darkhold book. And that's some deep shit right there, because that book is kind of like dark magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what does this mean?
Darkhold is it's just a book that you just don't. I mean, people of her level, that's where they go to read. Like that's what they'll take that out the library, and that kind of shit. But people like us, we just don't go near that shit. That book has got spells and information about ancient magic that is beyond our comprehension. People like Doctor Strange will be familiar with it. Maybe even he might not dip into the Darkhold. The Darkhold can bring untold trouble. And I think Agatha Harkness was trying to warn the Scarlet Witch that, what have you unleashed? What have you done?
Yeah.
So the Darkhold is something that I think Kay knows about this as well. That could lead into Doctor Strange too. So
We're hoping, man. We're hoping. Um, yeah, no, I think we mentioned it is one of the things I was reading up on because my maybe I need to get a hold of the dark hole myself because my knowledge on it wasn't too good. But no, Chthon is
That's
a
it.
big bad, big bad. I think he was kind of the author um of the Darkhold and the
Oof,
originator
the
of chaos
author.
magic, the author
Oh
of the
my
Darkhold.
gosh.
He kind of constructed it, so he'll know all about the Scarlet Witch. He would have known about the Scarlet Witch from time and the power that she would possess and what she would become. So it kind of just leads to the question to me: if you have someone as powerful as the Scarlet Witch is, and you have someone who wrote the book on how powerful she would be and knew she would come to pass at some time, what kind of beast are we dealing with now?
No.
D- the author, the owner of the rights to the
Come
chaos magic, like,
on.
you're dealing with something different. So I think that would be, it makes the most logical sense, leading on directly from WandaVision into the kind of Doctor Strange multiverse thing. It makes logical sense. But that's going to be a tough cookie to crack if they're bringing him onto the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a split. If you go back and watch the scene, folks, there's a split second you can hear one of her kids shouting out "mum." So she could be using the book to kind of tap into like another universe where they exist, and then that opens up the whole kind of multiverse, and then Doctor Strange obviously has to get involved. And so my question is she going to be the villain? Who's doing all this and creating all this, and then Doctor Strange has to kind of clean up all the mess, or does her messing around with the Darkhold unleash Chthon or someone else?
Yeah, I think the latter. I reckon it might unleash him. He might be chilling out in his dark, cold condo, and she's might maybe she's opened up a page, and he's like, "Oh, what's that over there?" And he's
Yeah,
come through, and then she has to
Yeah,
enlist the help of Doctor Strange or vice versa, try and get him out. So it could be one of those situations because it's a
yeah,
multiverse of madness, and they're going to let some madness through this multiverse. I reckon.
madness.
exactly.
I think it might even start off because you got to remember as well, right? Although she's kind of just now realized this and she's reading this book, she's gone from losing her brother to
Yeah.
losing Vision to him, no, to actually to killing Vision herself, to bringing him back to life, to watching him die, to losing him again, and now to losing her
Ooh.
kids. I
Kids,
mean, if
that's
I
grief, man.
that's crazy, and I think it might even start off with her being kind of blurred lines. You don't know where she is. She might
Yeah,
be
Mm.
slightly on the villain side because she's looking now trying to get her kids back. They're the only thing that she still kind of has to some extent. Um, so I think it might even start off with Doctor Strange having to get her in check so that they can both team up to go against the big bad in the end. But her powers exceed that of the Sorcerer Supreme, so he's gonna need to get her on side if she isn't.
yeah, and so and finally, kind of just to mention this, Agatha Harkness. One of her lines in the show is, you know, she's more. She realized that she's more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. And Deval, you kind of mentioned this as well. Like, she is more powerful than Doctor Strange. So when Doctor Strange finally does meet her, come up against her, he's gonna have to pull out the big guns, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is like big
Are there
sorcery
are their
going on.
guns big enough? I mean, really, are their guns big enough?
In
She doesn't.
She's
She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to. What's the word? The chanting. She don't have to say anything for the spells
oh
to come
about.
about.
Yeah,
but
They
you're
yeah,
right.
mention that in the
man.
show, right?
Yeah,
She
you're
doesn't
right.
have to do all of that. She just wills the magic. Like, I don't
Twists
know
her
if the
fingers
guns
a little
exist.
bit. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. But the good thing is that it all is leading up to this whole next chapter for WandaVision, which is Doctor Strange, and we're going to obviously see more, of her. Maybe we'll see Vision. But on the whole, chaps, I mean, what did you make of WandaVision? These episodes and this kind of first show for Disney Plus. What did you make of it overall?
Yeah, really good. I mean, I want more. I really enjoyed it. I think they've done a good job of the first show, and we've got lots more to come.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all up. I'm all over it. I love it.
I thought it was amazing. I felt the same way when when you touched on earlier how much Guardians meant to me, and just flipping the script, there's never been anything like this done on TV.
Yeah.
Nothing from starting from where they did in the 50s in black and white to come in widescreen to then adding a post-credits scene. Like, they followed a timeline
Yes.
within one show. They followed a timeline of how things. It opened up a completely new dimension of storytelling, which was amazing. And along the back of all this kind of fantasy and magic, which really gets the adrenaline going, you had a really deep story about grief, love, loss, and the rest of it. And the one thing that I think I mentioned it last week, but the one thing that always sticks with me from then is the line that Vision said in the episode when she was kind of going down memory lane type thing. And he said to her, "What is grief but love persevering?"
Yeah.
And that's a
Deep.
cold line. Like, that's not just Marvel fanboy, MCU stuff. That's real.
Yeah.
Can make a difference to someone. Like, I never even considered that that viewpoint myself either. So that, to me, is just completed the show from start to finish, all round. I just thought it was an amazing, amazing TV
Yeah,
experience.
I concur. I mean, it's a great show. Listen, whoever's listening out there, if you haven't watched it, go out and watch it. Beg, borrow, steal someone's Disney Plus code or email address and password and whatnot. Just watch it and thank us for it later on, and get in touch with us and let us know. So listen, look, that is all we're going to be speaking about WandaVision, and obviously it's going to, she'll weave herself, back into the show at some point, because obviously with Doctor Strange 2 and everything like that. So we're not done with her. We're just parking her for a bit. But now, for the rest of the show, Devout, what we doing? Should we just go straight to Anniversary Corner?
We know what we'll do, but we'll quickly mention a couple of trailers coming out. An Anniversary Corner, we'll mention one film that we'll highlight from there. Then we'll go on to Coming to America.
Take it away.
Cool. So first one is on Amazon, Without Remorse, and this is Michael B. Jordan. And this looks like a gangster movie where he is like some proper special ops, like top level sort of person you stand out to get Osama bin Laden, and he does it in a lunchtime, and and he's still got, and then he bakes you a cake in the afternoon, and then knits you a jumper. This guy is like, he's fully loaded, but they done him wrong, a bit like how the Punisher was done wrong, and he's out to get people with like in the worst way. So this film, Without
Yeah.
Remorse, this looks like a gangster film, out soon on Amazon.
Wicked.
So,
bro, it's for everyone, right? You get the female audience.
Yeah, they'll jump on it.
Jordan, they're gonna watch it, and you get the male audience now. When I tell you this is the Black John Wick meets Punisher meets, if anyone's familiar with Max Payne, that old school place, it is Black John Wick meets
wicked.
Punisher meets Max Payne. That's what this is.
Can't wait for this one. Stuff. This is going to be great. Yeah.
Next one on Netflix, Thunder Force, and this is Melissa McCarthy, as we mentioned before, along with Octavia Spencer, and this is a superhero movie. So they've somehow concocted a serum that gives people superpowers. I'm not sure where we've seen that before, but in this one, it's two ladies that you wouldn't normally see in superhero movies, but they're the stars. Melissa McCarthy has super strength, and Octavia Spencer has invisibility. So yeah, it's comedy. Jason Bateman shows up in this one as well as a few others. So looks like a lot of fun, and this is out on Netflix in about a month or so. So yeah, look out for that one.
I'll be surprised if it's not garbage.
It looks fun from the trailer,
I'll be very surprised if it's not garbage. Extremely surprised. I'll offer an apology on your show.
We'll have you back just to say sorry.
If this
we'll have to review that one and check it out, and we'll speak about it. All right, okay, on to Anniversary Corner, and we're going to do, obviously, like Deval mentioned, we'll do a cut down version of Anniversary Corner, but usually we speak about 5 movies from 10 years ago all the way up to 30 years ago. So Deval, take it away. What movie are we going to be bringing our listeners?
Yeah, so this one, in line with the other movie we're going to talk about, it's Nutty Professor, 25 years ago, 1996. Woo! So 1996. This is Eddie Murphy, classic, great movie, playing the professor, as well as other roles he plays in the movie as well. And this one's got Janet Jackson in it as well, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So a classic movie. That will make you laugh if you want to laugh.
when she still looked
Oh
like a
my
human.
gosh, man. Like now, oh man.
I know. And Little Kim as well. We've seen Little Kim, Gordon
Oh,
Bennett.
nah.
No, don't
Oh,
even. That's a
yeah.
whole different. You need another episode to talk about what she
I
looks like.
know. But yeah, that's anniversary corner. So yeah, now we're going on to the main film, which is Coming to
America. All
America.
right. Okay. So coming to America.
Cool.
Yeah. So we've kind of we've had time to stew on coming to America. Actually, so we've spoken about this, but now we kind of have a bit more time to reflect on what we thought about it. And I got to say one thing, fellas. My view hasn't changed one single bit. I went back, right? I went back and I watched like parts of it again, thinking, oh shit, maybe I was a bit too harsh. But no, like you know what? I stand firm with what I said, and what I say is, it's been over 30 years since the 1988 original, which to me is a classic. I remember watching that movie, getting it on VHS back in the day, and it was funny. Watching Eddie Murphy, bringing all those different characters to life, and you mentioned about Nutty Professor and him putting on the prosthetics and everything. Well, he did that in Coming to America to great effect.
Yeah.
And that barbershop scene in the 1988 movie was brilliant. All those kind of scenes and like him playing the pastor and everything was all great. And seeing those characters again, don't get me wrong, it brought a level of nostalgia, which was like, oh yeah, man, you know what? Seeing these characters is great. And maybe those guys should get their own movie. Who knows? But I was listening to an interview that Eddie Murphy gave just very, very recently, and the question that was posed to him was, Eddie, why is it taking you so long to get back into the game? And he said the reason why he took a break away from acting was because he was making shit movies. He was basically getting he was getting like Razzies, the Raspberry Award, and like for movies like, I don't know, The Clumps or Dr. Dolittle and things like that, right? So at some point he was getting a shitload of money, but then the movies weren't doing so well, so he decided, look, he's going to take some time off. But now, after 8 years, he's come back with Dolomite Is My Name, which is a great movie. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. And obviously, he's back now with Coming to America. And I think he's going to be embarking on a stand-up tour as well at some point. So,
Yeah.
So going back to Coming to America. Sorry for digressing there. I mean, it's got its individual moments, and it's got moments in there which I was like, oh yeah, that's funny, and yeah, seeing that character again is really good, and the way they kind of gelled this together, which was really great. But on the whole, I can't obviously compare it to the '88 classic, because how can it be as good as that? Because that was a different era, different Eddie Murphy. I was a kid back then and thought things like the royal penis is clean, like stuff like that is like scenes like that you can't do nowadays, like and they have the kind of alternative that they do in this movie, which is funny. Don't get me wrong, it's funny and everything, but it just doesn't have that same bite to it that that movie had.
But wouldn't it be refreshing if you did? Wouldn't it be refreshing if you did still do
Yes.
scenes like that? That was my issue with it. Is that we go along the lines of, oh, you don't really see that nowadays. But this is the problem. Wouldn't it be refreshing if he had have made a film in the same vein?
Yes.
You'll never get the classic, but in the same kind of vein as that first one would have been, I think, very, very easily done, and it would have been amazing. But they didn't. They brought just the kind of storyline from that film into a modern day kind of, your cheesy, not a lot of substance, very rushed storyline comedy, which, as you said, had really good points. And the nostalgia of it, we had the barking lady still barking
Yeah,
30
she's
years
back.
later.
Oh.
She's been barking for 30 years. Like that was funny. I think Simi was pretty funny throughout most of it. He had most of the comedy gold bits for me. But yeah, I don't hate on it, but I just think it would be refreshing to get something that people aren't expecting. You don't get comedy like that anymore. Pardon the pun, but it was raw. It was raw back then.
Yeah.
The comedy was raw. It was uncut. It was unfiltered, and it made people laugh. Now, it has to be well, it has to have the kids involved. It has
Yeah.
to be, well, Amazon's going to throw a shitload of money at me, so I can't make that type of comedy because that's not fit for Amazon. And that is where I was disappointed. Is that, they
No
conformed a lot
risk.
where I didn't think they had to. Yeah, there was no risk. It seems like, to me, it was done with the money in mind rather than creating an amazing film. So instead, what you got was a
Yeah.
fun watch, a fun, evening watch with the family one time. You won't, well, not a lot of replay value.
Mm.
Don't link it to the first one because you'll be
That's
disappointed. But just a fun
Yeah.
watch is what we ended up with.
Yeah. Deval?
exactly. No, I've got a similar sort of sentiment with that one. Yeah, I went into this with low expectations, like real low, just just hoping to have a fun time. Had a popcorn out, watched it, and I just had a bit of a fun ride. It's all nostalgia. Like my car, the car was sort of fueled with nostalgia fuel, and that's what kept me going. Apart from that, there wasn't a great deal of quality and all of that. But it was just, yeah, funny to see all the old cats, still around and doing their thing. They all looked really well, actually. They all looked really good. All looked
Mm.
really
Oh
good.
man, Eddie, man.
Lisa
He's
looked
the
good.
genes.
Even Eddie and Simi, they looked good. The Barkin lady looked good. The twins were back. Those twins that were in the bar.
Oh my
Those
gosh.
twins. And towards
My
the end of
name
the
is
film, it was
Cherry.
like you
My
just kept
name is
seeing things. I'm like, shit, she's there. He's there. It's like the barbershop dudes. It was just a whole bunch of like, okay, this is fun, but yeah, you're right. I wouldn't watch it again. Uh, it just didn't have the high levels that if some people were going in with that, then they would have all been disappointed. But a lot of people have been disappointed. A lot of people are cussing this film. They're really
Yeah.
cussing it. But
I wouldn't,
yeah,
cu-
I wouldn't cuss it.
I wouldn't cuss it. I wouldn't cuss it, but I think those people are probably seen the first one, which has to go into your top 5 comedy
Yeah,
films of
yeah.
all time. And I think if you've seen it and you're going, regardless of how low you want to have your expectations, you're gonna compare it, and it's not gonna add up. So you just need to kind of take it for what it is. Maybe younger generations who watch it now might think, "Oh yeah, that's really funny,"
Mm,
but then they won't get the links back to the old one. So that
exactly.
half the films, the half of the film, they won't understand why it's funny. So it's a tough bag. But a question I had actually,
Yeah.
Deval, you make popcorn and sit down every time you watch
Yeah.
a film, don't you?
I
You
make
actually
it,
make
yeah,
popcorn
yeah,
before you watch
yeah.
anything on TV, don't you? Yeah, I just wanted to verify that I was correct in my assumption.
With the seeds, I pop the seeds myself. It's so good.
I know you do. I know you do.
Oh shit.
Oh my gosh, but yeah.
I respect it,
Yeah,
my
got
friend. I
me
do
popping
respect
it,
it.
Oh,
you take this you take this flicks stuff
yeah.
real seriously, man. I got to respect you.
So what do you reckon? What do you reckon do you reckon we're going to see another Coming to America movie after this?
No,
I
I don't
really
think
hope
so. But I
not.
think they might start making other sequels. I hope they don't. But like, let's say Sister Act 3,
That-
for example, or another Beverly Hills Cop, for example, or
Yes.
Car
I think
Wash
Eddie will
2.
do it.
Yeah, if the money's right, people are going to do it. People need to get paid out here still. He's
Yeah,
got 10 kids to feed. I
I
mean,
know, man.
yeah,
This guy is
boy,
flipping hell, man. Seriously. So,
boy.
so one of the things that
I think he will though.
yeah.
yeah, he's. I mean,
I
he's
think I
still going
think
to be
there,
doing it.
there's a lot. He had a lot of films that could have had sequels, or if they did have
Yeah.
sequels, they could have had more. So now that his name is back in the current popular hemisphere with this, and now that people who might not have known Eddie Murphy before are like, "Oh, this guy's kind of funny." Now he's got the platform for Amazon and Netflix and the rest of it to start throwing in money to do comedy shows or to do additional sequels because he's relevant again. But it makes me sad, man, because he won't make another comedy sketch like Raw and
Yeah.
Delirious. He won't.
No, no, no,
He
no.
won't make another Coming to America.
Mm,
It'd be really
yeah.
I
sad
know. I know
to see
exactly what you
him.
mean because you want that old
It's like
Eddie.
looking at
Woo,
Ronaldo. I know the
woo,
Vargas is that you look at Ronaldo now,
woo.
R9. Doesn't it just make you
Oh,
sad?
mate.
It makes you
I just
sad looking
left
at
it
Ronaldo,
alone. That's
man.
it. That chapter is
Yeah.
You
closed.
have to.
Oh,
That's why I feel like I'll be with Eddie. Like remember how great R9 was?
Yeah.
mm,
Untackleable,
mm,
unshakable, never seen anyone with a better
mm,
weak
mm,
foot.
mm.
Ridiculous. And now you look at him, I'm like, man, just leave it in the past. Let me just remember you for how good you were. That's how I feel about
Yeah.
Eddie.
One thing that has come out of this collaboration with Eddie Murphy, though, is this thing with Wesley Snipes. He turned up in Dolomite Is My Name, and he had kind of like, he played the director in that movie, and he was funny in that, and he's funny in this as well. But please, please, don't get someone like Wesley Snipes to do dancing, man. This is one thing, I had to go back and I had to watch that scene again. He comes in, he's wearing a kilt and everything, and he's shaking his, like, whatever he's shaking, and I'm like, please, man, don't get Blade to do this, man. I was just like, oh my gosh. Blade. But it's great the fact that Wesley Snipes is kind of, he's doing these comedic roles, right? So that's something good out of it.
I kind of liked Wesley Snipes in it. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed his role, actually.
He might have been one of the best parts of it, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, he suits that role. He suits that kind of comic relief role in these films quite well. So maybe he's found his kind of niche lane.
Mm-hmm.
But Eddie needs to stop. He needs to behave himself and go look after his kids.
Oh shit! All right, well, listen, look, that's all we've got time for. I mean, Deval, unless you want to kind of like mention anything else?
Just the Rakuten voucher, yeah. So, guys, give us a hidden gem, a movie that you think is, not in the public eye that much, but a great movie nonetheless. Let us know on Instagram, Facebook, or however you want to let us know. And we'll send you a Rakuten movie code so you can watch a movie from the comfort of your own home.
With freshly popped popcorn, of course.
Go.
Otherwise, it doesn't count.
There you go. And Kate, we know that Deval, I know that you kind of like putting stuff out on your Instagram page. Let everyone know where you can be reached.
Yes, Kai James HL. That's KAIJAMES HL. Putting out stuff that you probably won't find interesting, but I find it kind of funny. There's a bit of funny stuff on it. There's a bit of health and nutrition stuff, and there's a bit of kind of, I guess, what do you call it? Motivational, deep thinking, elite mentality stuff. Ooh. So yeah, check me out. I'm happy for the company.
Exactly.
And shout out, we missed it. Shout out International Women's Day at the start of the week, and Mother's Day today, boys.
Yes,
boys. Am I reminding it?
No.
Is this the first time you're hearing it? Mother's Day today. I'm very upset with you.
We should have started with that, actually, to be honest. You're right.
Actually, we should have started with that one, actually.
I was really upset that you didn't. So, I thought I had to save you at the end before we just ended the show. But, they'll hear this afterwards. But all the mothers out there and everyone with mothers, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. So, Kay, you're going to come back on the show and we're going to do this again because we've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We've got Black Widow as well.
Dude, I'm here at your beck and call.
All right.
Whenever you guys are ready, like the end of which one was it? Civil War.
Yeah.
When Captain America leaves the phone,
with him.
You got that you got that narration going on in the background. You guys know where to find me. You got the direct self. You got the burner.
We got the burner. All right.
Whenever you need me, just hit me on the burner.
Suit up. Brilliant. That's what I'll say to you. Suit up.
Suit up.
You kind of make me want to.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Well, yeah.
We could do this all day.
I know. Seriously, man. This is the thing with podcasting and like just talking shit. Basically, you just keep on going on and on. But we're gonna have to cut it at some point. So listen, Kay, once again, thanks for joining us for the second time. Let's make it a third, fourth, fifth time, whatever, how many times. Deval, obviously, it's great always doing this with you. See you again next week. That's it. I'm out.
Peace out.
Awesome, gents.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just pop in the Flixters podcast.